Voice of Stockton, and KXVS Radio. I will discuss relevant issues affecting animals and pet owners today, how to avoid common problems, and how to extend the quality of life for your cherished companions. As a community advocate, I will also discuss important social issues that affect our city. I plan to showcase organizations and heroes who are doing amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
This is a production for the voice of San Joaquin. Porque nos vamos a enlazar con el mero, el gallo de Zacatecas.
That's right, homeboy.
El de Guayá. You got it, homeboy. Ahí les voy.
Dicen que soy poderoso, yo solo soy su amigo. No hace falta averiguar, saben a qué me dedico. Me gusta vivir muy bien, aunque me siga el peligro.
Nosotros somos los Tucanes de Tijuana y nos vamos directamente. Adelante, échale, primo.
Hay que hacer ruido para que se mire la polvadera. Ahí le va. Mi gente gusta la neta. Escuche en su carro, en su avioneta. Si prefiere mejor en bicicleta o en casa de su suegra Petra. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Para que se viera la polvadera. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Es la neta. Una producción del DJ Mix para el nuevo Imperio Enterprises.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Julie Damron, local veterinarian for over 20 years. I am so excited about my new radio show.
Go to tvosj.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff. The Voice of San Joaquin and the Voice of Stockton present Tell It Like It Is with your hosts, Jerome Clay and Motek Sanchez.
Good day, everybody. How you doing and welcome. This is Tell It Like It Is. I'm your host, Jerome Clay, alongside...
What's up, everybody? It's Motek in the house. Happy Sunday.
Okay. Well, Tell It Like It is a show where a conservative Republican, I guess you can kind of guess that that might be you, right?
Nah.
Oh, ain't you? All right. And a progressive Democrat can come together and talk about, political issues, culture, current events, right, from both sides, where we agree to disagree respectfully, right? We got a good show today. To that, hey, yo, Motek, tell them what we're drinking on tonight.
Well, right now we're just drinking on a little bit of Chardonnay, right? But we want to thank our sponsor for this show, who is one of Dement Realty Group out of Tracy. And she sponsored a bottle of champagne today because we're going to bring on our guests in a little bit. Congratulate the mayor of Tracy.
That's right.
Mr. Rickman himself in the house. So
that's what I'm talking about.
We're going to bring him on and celebrate his re-election.
All
and
right. Toast some champagne, huh?
Shout out to his victory, and shout out to
Demente.
Wanda Dement.
Wanda Dement, okay.
Wanda Dement of Dement Realty Group out of Tracy.
So we got to talk about the National Emergency Act. Ever since it happened, you start ringing my ears with your nonsense, right? So you seen the president, I guess he declared the state of emergency because he wanted the appropriation of the funds, right? And everybody kept saying how it's illegal. So before we get started, that's why I was having Governor Donna put up Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7. And this is where they're talking about where it's becoming illegal, right? And it says, we got the Constitution for you today, too.
Where it says we're respecting the Constitution.
Yeah, we're going to respect the Constitution, right? It says, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by the law and regular statements and account of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be punished from time to time. So what they're saying is, because he didn't go to Congress to get the money. Well, he went to Congress, and I think they gave him $1.7 billion for border security.
He didn't want enough, right?
He wanted enough.
But wasn't that a condition of ending the shutdown?
That was a condition in the shutdown. So I guess they're saying because of that, that he was wrong to then do the state of emergency. But see, this is why I tell you, Trump is playing chess while you guys are playing checkers. I don't know who he has on his staff, but whoever he has on his staff really understands the Constitution. Because this brother went back to 1976 of the National Emergency Act. Let me tell you what this brother did. Okay, he found that little section, which is a section that both George Bushes used, Herbert and the other one, in the Gulf War, and then they went to 9/11.
That's not really citing high bar standards.
So here we go. So within the 1976 Act, you have something that's called the Military Construction Fund.
Okay.
Which means when Congress, they apportion funds.
That means they can pay Halliburton for
No. So what means is through the military, he can get the apportioned funds for barriers. So then if you listen to the way he talks now, like I said, I don't know who he has on his staff that's talking to him because he's playing
wouldn't
chess.
that only be for military actions?
Right, but listen to what he's saying now. Now it's, you know what? We got drugs coming over. Okay. We got the cartels coming over.
Now it's a military crisis.
No, but if you look at his language from when he first was on the campaign trail to now, it's completely changed. That's what I'm saying. I don't know who he has on there, but whoever he has on this in his ear is like, look, if you want this money, this is how you do it. Come out there and say how much drugs are being infiltrated. Come out there and talk about, human trafficking. Remember at the State of the Union, the human trafficking. Yeah. So if you looked at it, he's switched. He's focusing on drugs, human trafficking, protecting our soil. It's not of course, keep illegal immigrants out, but that's not the focal point. So what do you think about that? I mean, how he's just, he's playing chess right now. You got to admit that he is playing chess. He ain't playing checkers right now.
Well, I think
Bobby Fischer.
I think the verdict will come
SpongeBob
when the verdict from the court comes down, because it's going to get tied up in court. And I give him an A for theatrics.
Okay.
But as far as the legality of it, I'm not too confident on it. I don't have much faith that it's going to go anywhere in the courts. And I think it's going to be tied up in the courts for a long time. That's going to take him into the next election. And I think that's why he's doing it, is for the theatrics of the next election. I don't think he's doing it because he really thinks it's going to work. And,
with the courts,
I also got to look at the fact, how do you declare a national military emergency? Because now we're citing things for military barriers,
right?
And then immediately after, you jump on a plane and go play golf at your Florida resort.
But he's using his statutory power. So when you talk about the courts, so look at this. Because California, I know Governor Newsom and the Attorney General Barrera came out and said, we're going to sue, right? So let's get this straight. So you're going to have the state going to sue the federal, because Congress gave the president the power. So now you got this is the lawsuit's going to be. And they're probably going to have it in California, some liberal court that's going to approve it, and then go to Ninth Circuit. They're going to approve it, and it's going to work its way to the Supreme Court. But in theory, you have a state that's suing the president because statutorily in 76 Congress gave him the power, so which is all within his constitutional rights, to say you're wrong. How is that?
I look at it as that being for military emergencies, and
George Bush
this to me does not qualify as such. But I also look at it as this is also an acknowledgement that he did not truly win in the standoff with the government shutdown, because as a result of him not getting what he wanted in that, now he's pulling this maneuver, right? So
he got $1.7 billion.
But he's saying that's not enough, so now he's doing this move.
He got $1.7 billion
for 5.4. That's not 5.4. He's saying what's needed for the wall is 5.4. Hence why he's doing this.
I know why you.
Hey, can I put my 2 cents in? Okay,
here.
first of all, Texas is the Fifth Circuit. That's where that border is, right?
Right.
So it may be a little bit in California, Ninth Circuit, and of course California is going to stand up for everyone's rights. So we'll file lawsuits on behalf of anybody, but. Expect it coming out of the Fifth Circuit. Okay. There's landowners in Texas who are not happy about this. Okay, and then they have made it plain. And if you do, check it out. You'll get some outspoken landowners on that border. Now, California, of course, we are also interested in not humans. So the monarch butterfly sanctuary also is being threatened. But I think it's two things: the self-destruct button of the GOP.
Okay.
And it's like Christmas for everything Democrats, because
here it is.
Here it's Christmas. You should see my Facebook posts. It was like it was like Trump is a hero. He's a hero for the Democrats.
Okay, you think so?
Oh man, without a doubt, because it's either A, getting tied up in a courts and looking like overreach of power, which is hypocritical, right? Okay. Because we heard what happened last administration. Okay. Especially Mitch McConnell has I don't know how I've got any room to even look. But what the real grand prize is, Christmas in February every day, is that now Democrats got room to declare national emergencies for real emergencies, real actual like emergencies. You know,
you're right. The Green Deal. But I'm just.
How about what is if you ask the Pentagon?
Okay.
What is the number one threat? National security threat that faces the United States of America. What's the answer? They gave it to Trump. They gave it to us. They told everybody. The number one threat is climate change.
Climate change. Right.
So there's a national security threat. So it's just, hey, you know, you just basically gave the Democrats everything they wanted because playing one-dimensional chess.
Yeah, see, but I disagree with that on the grounds that the Democrat, this is not about really building the wall, right? This is about 2020.
It's 2020.
And this is when it doesn't win in court or he doesn't get the money, the wall is not built, he's going to be able to go on the re-election campaign trail and say, I did everything that I could.
Keep my campaign promise.
And these Democrats keep getting in the way. And it is going to liven his base. His people are going to show up to the polls again. And actually, that's the challenge that the Democrats are going to have to overcome.
So even in the courts, right? So let's say it's going to work its way to the courts. It's going to the Supreme Court. And that's where those two conservative picks come into play.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So when people keep saying...
And he's expecting that. He said it point blank.
He already said. He said it'll end up... He basically talking about California. It's going to end up in liberal California. It's going to end up in liberal Ninth Circuit because, they reverse everything. And it's going to end up at the Supreme Court. The question you have to ask yourself is this. Congress gave him the power in 76. So if you're looking at it as a Supreme Court justice who have life tenure, they're going to look at the power that was given to him versus he acted within that power. So how do they then take it away from him? If Congress don't like it, it's simple.
It's not
pass a bill.
It's not about them taking it away from him. It's about them deciding if his move is within the means of what they defined as those powers. But right now that's what's up for debate.
They know it. It's not up for debate. They just don't want to give it to him.
It's up for the debate, and that's why it's gonna have to go to court. So let's move on.
Let's go. We want to talk about that. We got to talk about your Amazon deal.
Let's talk about Amazon getting kicked out of New York.
I love this because I'm looking right, and I seen the Amazon, and I seen your girl AOC. She was so happy. She held that rally. I'm glad they left, and the mayor came out. I'm glad they left. And now when it's announced 25,000 jobs are gone, right? The mayor comes out. I don't know why they left. They should have kept their promise to us. And then your girl AOC, and she did her little speech over the weekend at a little college, and we need to hold on and fight on. So wait a minute. You guys fought to get rid of them. You got rid of 25,000 jobs, right? In your state. Now you're mad at Amazon for leaving.
Well,
what is that?
I look at it like this. Is it really getting rid of those jobs, or is it how much would it cost the state in infrastructure and taxes in order to have the business there, but that business is not paying any taxes? Right, they paid zero in federal taxes last year, and they made $21.2 billion in profit.
But the workers
actually they received
some money.
They received tax returns last year.
That becomes a problem where it's becoming subsidized.
I'm talking about Amazon received a tax return last year.
And how much did they make last year?
The profits were, I want to say,
the reason why I'm bringing this up,
$1.2 billion.
Okay, the reason why I'm bringing this up because once again, your best friend AOC. She said she wanted to tax 70% of people make over $10 million. If you can't even tax Amazon, who made how many billions?
Well, that's because
so
that's
how are you going to
tax?
How are you going to tax?
Her herself can't make the tax code.
That's kind of that. Yeah, those convoluting two things.
No. That's not convoluted. What I'm saying is,
look.
Okay.
You're saying that because she hasn't already taxed Amazon, why should?
I'm not saying
that's
that.
The point you're making.
Here's the point I'm making. The point I'm making with all this that goes together is when you got a company that's making over 10 million, because she was saying at 10 million you want to tax 70%. These companies know how to hide money, even if a company's making 100 million or.
Well, it's because the tax laws allow them to.
And the way the tax loopholes allow them to hide it. So even if
where are you going with this? We should just give up.
Not just give up, but I'm just saying fix the loopholes. No. So if you want to fix it, it's simple. Talk to Congress.
All right, I got a fact
does
check
have to go through Congress.
Okay. I got a fact check. You said about Ninth Circuit overturns everything. Sixth Circuit and 11th Circuit both have a much higher percentage of
overturn.
Yes, that's Ohio, Michigan,
yeah, but
Kentucky,
what
Tennessee.
cases? What cases? What cases they talking about? The little,
so
brother
now,
John, sister John.
So now we decide what cases.
Which chicken?
We're getting sidetracked. Yeah, that's going to take us down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I think when we're talking about Amazon, when Amazon first announces their headquarters, whatever they call it, their super HUD or whatever it's called, right? HQC or whatever.
Yeah.
You have all these cities competing, stepping over each other to get it, right? And I think New York figured out to say, look, we did that, we engaged in that. Now we have new leadership, and they have to do a cost-benefit analysis to say how much benefit does it really bring if, we're subsidizing them, right? Essentially. And I think if you look at it in those terms, is it costing them more to host them in their state versus the benefit of what they're giving with the 25,000 jobs? Because I know a lot of people who have worked in the Amazons here locally, and I've heard some good stories, right? But I've also heard some horror stories where people are treated like human robots, right? And they just get cycled through, and it's not really the type of employer. A lot of people will say that is really a place that you can go to support a family, build. That's a community anchor, right? And I think Amazon making as much money as it does, being as large as it is, if it were to alter their business model a little bit to be more of a responsible community partner, then I think that it would be justified for the people fighting to bring them to their cities, right? So that's the discussion. And I think that some of that discussion is going on here locally. We're going to bring on the Mayor Tracy.
That's
and
right.
He can talk about bringing jobs here.
So that's even good because don't the Mayor Tracy got Amazon up in his place?
We're going to ask him. We're going to find out.
Ask him. Okay.
So
bring him on?
Let's I think let's bring him on.
Let's do it, and we can talk about Amazon again, huh?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You're listening to Tell It Like It Is on the Voice of San Joaquin at tvosj.org, at tvosj on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Please join us on tvosj.org and at thevoiceofsanjoaquin.org. We'll be right back with Tell It Like It Is with your hosts, Motex Sanchez and Jerome Clay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God! We can sue this guy.
Give me a chance. It came out like.
Welcome back to Tell It Like It Is on the Voice of San Joaquin with your hosts, Motex Sanchez and Jerome Clay.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I got a disclaimer right now. So we getting ready to pop the cork, right? The champagne. And this brother right here, oh my God. I don't know what's wrong with him. So he knows when champagne, you got all that gas in when you pop it. He almost took out, I can't even say her name. I don't even want to say her name on air because I don't want to embarrass her like that. But anyway, he almost took out a young female in here. I'm going to pass her some law cards. We going after this guy. I mean, this guy almost took her eye out.
Hold on. I got to fact check that. I didn't see any eyes endangered here.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
We got a special guest, Tracy Mayor Robert Rickman in the house. We want to wish you congratulations on your re-election as Mayor of Tracy.
Salud.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So now that you're in your term, we wanted to bring you on as a special guest and talk to you about what's going on in Tracy. Right. We know most recently there was some news made as far as the state of the city being free since, I think, 2002, I believe, or 2010.
I look back since 2008. I know they charged, and I'm not sure too much before that, but it's been close to 10 years.
Okay.
So now the state of the city is free and open to the public, correct?
Right.
So why was that so important for you to do as mayor, to say I'm going to make sure that this happens, and explain, if you could, the difference between what's going to happen this year versus what was happening in the previous years?
Well, in the previous year, when I was getting ready for the state of the city this year, I was informed, hey, we're going to charge $30. And I was like, what do you mean we're going to charge $30? And apparently they used it as a fundraiser for the Chamber of Commerce. And I didn't feel right about it. For one, being the mayor, being within the city of Tracy, we work for the residents of Tracy.
Right.
And what we do for the state of the city is inform our residents, how we're doing, or what's our progress, what we're looking forward to, and we're using their tax dollars to put this on.
Right.
And for me, charging a taxpayer to hear a public official is absolutely ridiculous. So I brought it before council, and we talked about it, and it ended up we won. And this year will be free for the first time in approximately 10 years.
Wow, that's
good.
great.
That is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
And I know one of the reasons why the Chamber of Commerce was, to my understanding, was using it as a fundraiser, but the city was incurring all of the costs. Correct. They were incurring all the costs anyways. The chamber was kind of making the money off it as the fundraiser, because I know there was some debate back and forth. I watched the meeting where people were wondering about the MOU, and it was kind of unclear. That would have been good for you to see that, because he has his JD. As far as the legal question, the city attorney was not too supportive of the MOU, it seemed. And so it's just interesting to see how, if the city is incurring the costs anyways, why is it not available to the public and have equal access and opportunity?
Right. We get along great with the chamber, and we'll still partner with them.
Okay.
However, it will be free.
That's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So progress that was made already in your first month? That happened in January. You got some new changes being made already?
No, and I take it very seriously. When I'm up there, I work for the people of Tracy, the residents of Tracy. That's who I work for. Period.
Okay, so talking about work, right, and what we just segued from our last conversation, we talked about Amazon in New York. We do have Amazon out here
in Tracy, right?
Correct.
They have a warehouse, correct?
Fulfillment center. Actually, we have two of them.
And
so what is a fulfillment center?
It's where they have the product, and you get on the internet, you order it, and it pops out from there.
And so
it's shipped from the fulfillment centers.
And I know I see these like Prime vans, right? That's around. So do they report to fulfillment center? So let's say I order something on Amazon. Would they go to the fulfillment center, pick it up, and then the Prime vans will come out?
I would assume. I'm not exactly sure how the Prime works, but to get the order, and I've took a tour of the facility, and it's the first one we have. The Amazon is one of the largest in the country,
right?
And it's one of the training centers, and it's impressive, with the robots, and it's amazing how you can get on the internet, punch in something, ship it, and these little robots get them up. They put on these conveyor belts, boom, it's out.
It's in your front door in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
The drone,
faster than Domino's Pizza.
Yeah, I haven't seen any drones. I asked him, hey man, what do you keep the drone fleet? And he goes, we don't have drone fleet. And he just walked out.
Now with Amazon coming to Tracy, and I had some residents of Tracy reach out and ask, had me ask you a couple questions. They got to go over the hill for better wages. Now I know you have Amazon that's in Tracy right now. I don't know, the current wages. I don't know what their scales are. But what are you going to do as mayor, or try to do as mayor, to open up where Tracy residents can stay in Tracy and find employment that match, even their living conditions, because even rent is rising in Tracy.
No, absolutely. And when I first came mayor in 2016, one of the first things I did, I created a 5-point plan.
Okay.
It had to deal with economic development, amenities, public safety, beautification, and enhancing some of the great things. And one thing that I recognize is that we have to diversify our economy.
Right.
And, we put a list of, different incentives to help businesses. We updated our marketing. We had a very poor marketing resources here in Tracy. So we revamped it. Okay. So not only are we going within the city of Tracy, we're going to the Bay Area and out of state.
Okay.
And hey, I've even had talks with a reporter from China.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And one thing that Amazon has done for the city of Tracy is it put us on the map.
Yes.
You know, when people think of you show these fulfillment centers in Tracy. Well, Tracy was pretty much the first one here, and one of the very first here in California to get that. So we brought that attention. But just recently, we brought in Katera, which is an advanced manufacturing company.
Oh, okay.
And that is going to have over 500 jobs. Wow. And a lot of those jobs are those head of household jobs, more than the $15 an hour job. So what we're doing is...
That's good. That's
good.
That is good.
Yeah.
And even like Skyrise, it was from an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, started in Tracy. It's about the helicopters and I guess it's manless or driverless helicopters. And that was one of the first in the nation, and it was right there in Tracy. And it's just getting back to basics. For me, it's getting back to basic customer service. And you know we're competing with other cities here in San Joaquin County, so we got to make them pick Tracy. And one of the great things we have going for us is land. And if you look over the hill, I mean, there's not much there. And the first city you run into is Tracy.
It's Tracy. Even when you're talking about that, now, what's going on? You know, was talking about the train that's coming through Tracy. What's going on with that project? You know, trying to get BART out to Tracy, even extend it out to Lathrop. So what's going on with that for, you know, that your residents who do commute over the hill, right? Because there's some residents that have been in their jobs 10, 15, 20 years. They want to continue to stay there, but it's hard, you know, get on an Altamont 3, 4 in the morning. So I know you guys got Amtrak that's there and the Ace train that's there. But what happened once you get that BART to Tracy?
Well, one of the things that I did when I became mayor is we conducted this huge old study in, you know, economic development study. How do you get these types of head of household businesses, Tracy? And one of the things that they came out was that a lot of these big corporations, a lot of the head of household jobs follow rail.
Okay.
And as mayor, you know, I went on to the San Joaquin Council of Governments, and our previous mayor kind of put this he kind of pushed this project back, the Valley Link, and more focused on the ACE to Sacramento. And for me, that's kind of ridiculous, since most of our residents, not just in Tracy, but in San Joaquin County,
Stockton too,
goes west. Yeah. So we kind of spun it around, and you know, I fought hard on this end, and we had a Councilmember Vargas, fight on the Alameda side.
Okay.
And hopefully within 5 years, about 2024, we're looking at to be operational.
And so the viewers know who